Okay, just to quickly introduce me before we start, my name is Christian Sasse. For those of you who don't know me, I run SassePhoto, and together with my team we provide educational clips on eagles, raptors around the world. We're usually live on Wednesdays and also on Fridays. Wednesday with the Eagle and Raptor news around the world, and Fridays with special shows and interviews. And don't miss the interview here on Friday. So hi to see all of you. I can see Susie, Bella, Donna, I see Kathy there. Thank you for joining. So this is just a quick hello. Christy, I've seen Susan, Baffle91, and so on. Just say hi. We'll be live shortly. Wonderful to have you all here, and I hope you have a warm summer now like we do too. See you shortly. So just hang on, we just got a little bit then, about 1 minute 45 seconds to go. I hope you can hear me loud and clear. Just give me a sign that you can. Thank you. Hello, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you may be, whether it's down under where I just came from, or in Europe, or possibly North America, where I believe most of the listeners are. Welcome to another edition here of Eagle and Raptor News together with my team. Welcome and thank you for tuning in. It's wonderful. You know, it's spring, everything's blossoming. It's so wonderful. I hope you have nice weather like we do. I did see some snow in some eagle nests still. I hope that will soon disappear and spring and summer will take over. So let's get right to it. We got loads and loads of news today. It's crazy because spring is coming. I've been in Down Under for 2 weeks and that is very noticeable. So let's jump right in. Okay. So first of all, the eagle speaks. Let's go to the hatches. Just expand the screen a little bit so you can read this properly. The hatches Delta 2, this is going a little bit back now to the 11th of April. We had 2 eggs there, the last one being on the 12th of April. And then there was Bald Canyon also on the 12th of April. I think American Eagle Foundation Dollywood, I think I did mention that before, was the 14th of April. Bald Canyon, second hatch, also 14th of April. And the newest one comes from Etzel Bluff City. Visual sightings reports was reports 2 eaglets on the 18th. Also, obviously, there's no camera on the 18th of April. And then what has been laid here? Decorah North. Second egg or first egg, a second clutch was on the 12th of April. Decorah North again, that's where it's been quite cold. Second egg, second clutch on the 15th. Harrison Mills has come in. Wonderful Harrison Mills in British Columbia here. 15th of April, seen at 4:36 a.m. Someone must have been up very early, branched now. Now we get to the exciting parts of branch, and our berry, yes, our one eaglet that has survived, B10, has branched on the 17th of April. Big Bear also, California Stormy, branched on the 21st, very recently. And now we come to Mr. Paul White in Webster, Yellow Rose, 15th of April at 7 a.m. Congratulations to your lovely nest in Texas. The trio nest, the exciting trio nest, eaglet number 2 passed away unfortunately sometime in the evening. That was quite a dramatic story, and also unfortunately passed away is Sandy Ridged. That is the female. There was an attack from another female and later came back and took the eaglet. That is sad. Nature, that is the way it goes. And then of course Decorah, quite well known dad, has last been seen on the 19th of April. I've just been connecting with John Howe this morning to get the latest updates. He has told me nothing new, probably from what you already know. Dad is still missing. There is a second dad, an unidentified object or subject lurking around the nest. And Mum is, however, full speed doing her duties. We are going to see some incredible footage later. So very exciting what's going on. Let's just jump out of this and let me just jump to my other screen where we come to news around the world. And we start with Earth Day. We had Earth Day just a few days ago. So let's see, hopefully the audio works well. Let's see if this works.
Today by teaching families about how to help the planet. News Channel 15's Kite Pessoa, just back from Eagle Marsh Nature Preserve. He joins us now with more.
You couldn't have asked for better Earth Day weather. Area families came out in the hundreds. It's that time of year to show appreciation for our green and blue home, Earth Day.
It shows everything that is like happening in the earth and what helps the earth and what things are in it.
That's right, and for Earth Day Fort Wayne, you can get educated on all types of earthy fun facts.
I learned that how many circles are on a tree is how old it is.
I learned that bees carry pollen on their legs from flower to flower.
Today, Soaring Hawk Raptor Rehabilitation presented a variety of birds, small ones like these screech owls.
It was really cool and nice.
And big ones like this American bald eagle.
They eat lots of fish, and they need fish.
Sandy Moore says eagles like Jefferson here are more critical to nature than you might know.
We like to educate the public on how important birds of prey are to the nature. I mean, if something's wrong with birds of prey, there's something wrong with the wildlife. There's something wrong with everything.
Fort Wayne is just a small part of this great earth, but there's no doubt we're doing our part to take care of it.
As every community, we want clean water, clean air, places to run with our kids. And so Earth Day, you can come out and learn why wetlands are important or what other conservation groups are doing in our community to help clean up and keep our environment clean.
So you might be curious to learn more about Jefferson the bald eagle. For more fun facts and video of him, find this story on Wayne.com. Kite Pessoa, News Channel 15.
Well, that was lovely Earth Day. I hope you had a wonderful Earth Day. And now we come right back to the old story. We see an increase of eagle population. At the same time, we unfortunately also see an increase in lead poisoning. You will remember the recent interview we had with Haynes, with the Eagle Foundation in Haynes, talking about lead poisoning in detail. If you haven't seen that, please look at the past channels. Very interesting. So the report basically, well, let's just stop the Jupiter storm here on the right. That is not the intention to talk about astronomy here, but the case here is that there has been an increase, in this case a rehab center called Born Free Wildlife Rehabilitation had 2 eagles rescued in one night, and one of them recovered within 3 months, and it takes a long time. If you look at, I think I've seen, yes, here you can see the x-ray, you can see the digestive tract there with the bald eagle admitted to the avian resources in Iowa, and you can see very clearly the metallic reflection in the X-ray of the lead pellet. So this is really disturbing. If you're wondering if there are going to be any changes in legislation, you can read the text here on the right. It says, under President Donald, a day before President Barack Obama left office, his administration issued an order that would phase out lead ammunition on federal wildlife refuge by 2022, but that was reversed by the present administration. So I think, unfortunately, worldwide, no one is serious really about it. I don't think a single administration can be blamed for this. This is a worldwide issue that no one is taking seriously, unfortunately. And exactly to the same point, I will now play this.
Cultural Center to witness the release of a bald eagle. That's after it spent the past month recovering from being poisoned. News 12's Sydney Gray was there as the eagle took its first flight back into the wild.
Well, it's been a tough road to recovery, but nearly a month after being poisoned, a bald eagle is getting her freedom back.
Whoa. She gave us a real show today.
Last month, a Murray County game warden came across 2 bald eagles, one dead, the other fighting to survive.
Both of them were showing extreme signs of anticoagulant poisoning.
Wild Care Foundation Director Ron DeLarge says the female bald eagle was brought into her facility in Noble to be nursed back to health.
The bird came to us incredibly critical. She couldn't even stand. She was struggling to take each breath, and blood was bubbling up from her lungs.
Wildlife rehabilitator Marissa Clark says the birds likely ate another animal that had been poisoned. She says secondhand poisoning occurs often amongst wild birds.
There's different ways other than poison to get rid of the critters you don't want around. Any way other than poison where it could end up affecting other animals would be a better option.
After a month of rehab, the bald eagle was finally set free at the Chickasaw Cultural Center Thursday.
It was amazing, absolutely beautiful. So I know it's very rewarding for the people who took care of her to be able to see her get to this point where she can be free.
This is an eagle, my goodness. Can't get a better day than this and a better location.
If you find orphaned or injured wildlife, contact the police or your local game warden. In Sulphur, Sydney Gray, News 12.
Okay, and now we jump to YouTube. You may remember, and if you have not seen it, please take a look. The wonderful smaller Norway Eagle Cam here by Lady Hawk. We recently did an interview and that was incredible, right to Norway about this nest. It was an incredible interview. If you've missed it, please take a look. But the great news is there was an eaglet born yesterday, and probably the second one is going to hatch tomorrow. And here is the first feeding by Baron. Really beautiful. Thank you to Lady Hawk for this submission. I'm just spooling a little bit forward, but you can see the beautiful feeding of the one day old. Absolutely magnificent cameras they have. Svein, who runs this, is an absolute technical wizard. And do look at the interview if you have not seen it. We had an incredible interview with them live. And you can see how beautiful the results are. Very knowledgeable here on a small island on the west of Norway. And now something different. Did you know there's a red-tailed hawk camera if you've never seen one? This is also welcome to the world on the 23rd. Really beautiful. You know, these little red-tailed hawk chicks certainly remind me of our Sydney nest last year when we had 3 eaglets and you know, the hawk in the eagle's nest. They really look like hawklets. When you've seen one, you've seen them all. If you've never seen one and you see one in an eagle's nest, you certainly don't know what you're looking for. Just spooning a little bit forward, and you can see the incredibly white head there of the hawklet. Doesn't that look familiar? It certainly does to me. And look at the beak form. There are some resemblances, of course, to very small eaglets, although they're much grayer. But you can see that it would be tricky for an eagle to say, well, is that an eaglet or is my instinct coming through here? Very nice. Thank you, Lady Hawk, for that. And finally, this is really beautiful. Superman's golden sunset. Just have to show you these beautiful scenes here. Just incredible what you can do with webcams nowadays. I mean, I have never seen anything like this. I mean, what a gorgeous, gorgeous landscape. Just try and spool forward a little bit as the sun sets here. And the light just gets better and better. This is a photographer's dream. Really beautiful. So that is our great Superman in California, enjoying the sunset. Love it. Okay, and now we jump to some more news. Sorry, let me just close the window here. Yes, we're now jumping to ospreys. Here, Osprey Mama, it's your turn. To some ospreys.
After being knocked down by strong winds, PPL crews were out replacing a spot for ospreys to nest in Wayne County. Newswatch 16's Alan Vickers was there as a new one was erected and spoke with some happy bird watchers.
This osprey flying above Lake Wallenpaupack will have a new place to eat and nest in Wayne County. Earlier this month, the perch for ospreys along the Route 590 overlook was snapped by high winds. PPL crews spent Friday building a new spot for the birds to nest. Helen Reese comes once a week to see the birds and was sad when she saw the broken pole.
That was terrible. The weather has done a number on everything around here, so I felt very sad.
After digging a new hole, slowly but surely, PPL crews placed a 55-foot pole into the ground along Lake Wallenpaupack. Brookfield Renewable and Energy Company owns the land where the pole fell. They partnered with PPL to build a new nesting spot. PPL crews spent time putting sticks in the nesting platform to make it look a little bit more like home for the ospreys.
This is just one of the ways that we support the environment, give the wildlife a helping hand, but we also recycle wood poles. So, this wood pole will be recycled, the one that came down.
Newswatch 16 first spoke with Ken Politor when the nest came down. As a bird enthusiast, Politor was happy how quickly things came together.
It restores my faith in human beings, because a lot of companies, would have said, yeah, we'll get to it, and that was it. But these people really jumped on it, and they're restoring something that we look forward to.
It's just wonderful. That's money being spent in a very good and positive way.
And bird watchers hope the high-flying birds build up their new nest here along Lake Wallenpaupack. Alan Vickers, Newswatch 16, Wayne County.
So that was some good news for our raptors. And another one, and actually I got this news independently from Nicole and also Osprey Mama. And there are different news channels reporting about this, and it's about a baby shark being caught by an osprey. And I think Fox News said it's 1 in a trillion chance. Well, a local photographer with passion for wildlife took this amazing photograph of an osprey carrying a small shark. So, obviously this is remarkable. He comes home and realizes what he's got there, because first of all you think, well, this is a normal fish for an osprey, but it's not. It's actually a baby shark, so it's a sensational picture. I do, however, wonder how rare this really is, because I had a conversation earlier with Osprey Mama, and she said, well, there are so many baby sharks she sees out there, and obviously, if you do remember, I myself took a sand shark being attacked by eagles here on our beach. So I don't think it is as rare as we may think. It's certainly not 1 in 1 trillion, but it is something to watch out for. It's just as our cameras become more and more ubiquitous, both in trees and everywhere, we are spotting more about wildlife. We are discovering something that may not be as rare as it seems. And now we jump to the BBC, and this is an this is an incredible story here. This is a journalist called Matt Graveling, and he may have regret stopping for an injured kite that was hit presumably by another car. So he stopped, and the kite was not moving. He put it on his passenger chair, and then 15 minutes later the kite suddenly came to, forcing him to stop and swiftly evacuate the car. He went to a nearby garage called the RSPCA, which is the wildlife rescue organization in the UK, and it took them quite some time to come. But the kite made a big mess, and he felt very threatened by the kite. He may have regretted it, but you know, we do applaud his love for nature. So these things do happen. Well, you know that raptors can be quite fierce with their talons, and that's what our journalist was worried about. And now we go also to Europe, and this is very interesting. I actually talked to David Hancock specifically about this incident, and what happened here is this here is about it's called a booted eagle. A booted eagle is a bit larger than a red-tailed hawk, but the observation here was that this booted eagle in the Mediterranean area, where they're quite common, was attacked by seagulls and forced into the sea. I was a little bit suspicious of this interpretation, so I phoned David Hancock to ask him for his opinion, and he said, well, Christian, you know, we read a lot of things in the news, what people perceive who don't have the experience. This may or may not be true, but he doubts it, because what we do know is that ravens do attack eagles, for example, when they have an injured wing, and they can get very vicious, and they can kill an eagle that way. So it may be that this medium-sized raptor, by the way, it's not a fish eagle, it was attacked by seagulls because it was either very tired or already injured. It is certainly something that David Hancock says would not be common. And now we come to something really peculiar. I was amazed when my team picked out the following. I had no idea there was such a thing as a honey buzzard. Did you know that honey buzzards raid beehives and also hornets' nests? Well, beehives may be sad, but I'm very happy if they attack hornets' nests. So I wondered what this actually looked like and how it is possible that they would feed on beehives without getting injured. So I did have a look on YouTube, and I found the following video, which I just want to show to you. Quite remarkable. Oh dear. Wait a second. 1 second. Let me just skip this. Here we go. There we go. So let me just skip a little bit forward here and just watch this, this very naughty honey buzzard get right into the beehive and not care at all. You know, I wonder, don't they get stung? You can see there, or, you know, very busy. And you can see as we go further into the video, look at this ferocious attack from the bees, but he doesn't seem to care. I mean, this is quite the attitude, isn't it? You know, that's what I find so interesting about giving these news. Every time I learn something new, and I had no idea this was even possible. Look, even going to his eyes, and he's just shaking himself a little bit. It's just like a small breeze there, but certainly not perturbed about anything. Quite remarkable, isn't it? Quite remarkable. Thanks for that contribution and making us aware of the so-called honey buzzard. Very interesting. And another interesting news here. I mean, I had heard of the turkey vulture, but I certainly had never heard of the black vulture, and even less did I know that on the East Coast, these vultures could viciously attack and even kill calves and sometimes cows. And what they do is quite vicious. They go straight, if you read the article, they go straight for the eyes of the calf, and then they attack it and they kill it. At the same time, this eagle is under the protection, you know, under the Bird Protection Act. So at the moment, there's nothing they can do. But I found this a very aggressive vulture something new to me. For those of you who have ever seen a black vulture, please comment. I have never seen one, but I found this really interesting. Yes, and now some good news. You do know that condors, of course, are almost extinct and are really protected. So what they're doing is they are raising them more and more in captivity, and in this case there are 7 eggs and 5 of which have hatched in the Oregon Zoo, and they are the final 2 are expected to emerge from the eggs sometime soon. So this is very pleasing to see what is happening there in Oregon, to see that the condors seem to be reviving and making it now in captivity. Very important contribution, especially because we are the ones who are destroying wildlife. So it is very important to conserve and preserve wildlife. And finally, some good news here also from my team. Does this come as a surprise to you? New studies show bird watching is good for your brain. Well, my answer to that, anything out there in nature, taking part in nature, is good for your brain. So surprisingly, the scientific study on the University of Exeter came to the conclusion that you are very healthy when you when you use your brain and you watch birds and wildlife. Of course you do. And I'm sure there are many other things, including watching the sky, which I also love doing, and so on. Engage with nature where you can, get outside. It is really important for your health. Thanks to my team for this wonderful contribution here. So let's jump right into the next things. So now we're going to the American Eagle Foundation in Washington, D.C. was posted by the Hanover Group here. An independent worker here, oops, sorry, let me just put this up again. An independent worker flew to fix the cams. That's a nice picture. And this is quite interesting. Smoky Mountain, I've just seen that in the chat being discussed here. So an incident happened just 2 days ago. That was on the 22nd of April. 3 days ago, on the 22nd of April, where they were watching the nest and they saw that there was a fish brought into the nest, and the fish had a spinner bait with a hook and a braided line attached to it. And lo and behold, a day later, the same thing happens again. Another fish comes into the nest. And that is quite alarming. At this point, the American Eagle Foundation, that is Al-Sasir, sorry for mispronouncing the name, and staff quickly began planning to remove the fishing line, and they climbed up. And we do know that one of the eaglets had in fact swallowed the hook and was lodged inside the eaglet's stomach, and it is doing well again. So that's the latest update. Smoky Mountain Bay, the eagle now back and safely with the 2 siblings in the nest. Mission accomplished. Great work. And here you go. Let me just turn this video on so you can see there. Comment and video from Donna May. I will just be quiet so you can listen to this. I'm not sure, there may be no sound in this, but that's okay. Let's just see, maybe. No, there doesn't seem to be any sound with this, but you can see the rescue operation going on there in very good hands here. Yeah, let's just spool forward a little bit. The climber checked all around the nest just before this to ensure no more hooks or lines remained. Yes. Well, it is sad. That is another thing. You have lead poisoning and you have this increasing menace with hooks from fishing. It is just devastating what we are doing with the environment. And here is, let's go to the next one. And this is a video by Andrea Well. Congratulations, A32 and K76. So we're going to California to the Institute of Wildlife Studies. So just enjoy this small video here. Thank you for contributing this. Isn't it wonderful? They're taking very good care. And now, well, we come to the berry nest, of course, B10. And as we mentioned before, this is a picture here, Bill Cameron on the topic we mentioned before, and that is the branching. So this is what I call branching indeed. Wow, what a tremendous swing here for branching. Beautiful here, just taken yesterday. Thank you, Bill, for that. And Erlene Cameron, really wonderful. And now Gina again. Famous Gina from, we know her very well with her marvelous pictures from the berry nest. And she says here, not really sure what's going on, but Ma and Pa Berry ate first while Junior waited his or her turn. Laugh out loud, she had to learn her eagle ways. Well, here you go, that's the pecking order. Look at this. There's Ma and Pa. And here they go, and yeah, it's time to wait. Well, I think the good thing is that these eagles are still brought in good tradition, something that our youth can also learn from. Oops, that was a bad comment, wasn't it? Slipped out of my mouth. Now the 24th here, Celeste Chauvin here, another B3 branch buddies. What a marvelous picture. And now we go to, yes, here we go. This is a nice one here. Stormy at Big Bear Fledge. So enjoy this one. Thank you for the contribution. Beautiful fledge here. Thank you for that. So it was the Institute of Wildlife from the Wildlife Studies again. And now we go to Dale Hollow. Mum loses fish. Oh yeah, that's a marvelous one. Mum loses fish. Watch this one. This is really crazy. The fish jumps out of the nest. And she gets it back. I've not seen this before. I've seen rodents disappear, but I've not seen a fish jump out of a nest. Now you see it in slow motion, really to enjoy. That's what I call a slippery fish. Whoops. Yeah, there it goes, there it goes. Very nice contribution, thank you. I think later, yes, she does come back. And I can see it from all different perspectives here. This quite the scene here. Marvelous contribution, thank you. And now we go on. Oh, Decorah, yes, Decorah. We're just talking about John Howe. Now alone and providing for 3 hungry chicks. This is really marvelous. With two fish, one in the left and one in the right foot. Can you see that? It's absolutely incredible. Coming in with 2 fish. What an incredibly tenacious and mighty mum. And this is really marvelous. The eagles have been fed and are beginning to look around, although they haven't yet ventured out. Yeah, on the patio. Yeah, my goodness, what a picture. Beautiful, beautiful picture. And here again, chapter shared by the Raptor Resource Project. That is John Howe again. And Amy, of course. Dad hasn't come back yet. Unidentified male eagle, yeah, is still in the area. And Mum continues to provide excellent care. Of course, it's dangerous to let the male in, as you know, because the male could harm the eaglets. We've seen that before in another nest. I don't remember in which nest it was, but we did see something like that recently. If anybody can comment in here, that's very kind. And by the way, thank you so much for some donations there. I'm just looking there. Somebody has kindly donated $9.99. I think it may have been Osprey Mama. Thank you so much. Just to quickly let you know, we do depend and we welcome donations, especially to Patreon, very much. And you'll get the most magnificent National Geographic type bald eagle pictures there for only $2 a month. remarkable and high resolution, which you can use for your personal use. So thank you very much for that kind donation. And another one here for the Raptor Resource Project. We're taking, yes, oh, that is the same picture again. I think these eaglets are doing very well, and Mum is doing a fantastic job. Eagle Whisperer, now we go to the North Decorah nest here. Congratulations to Mr. and Mrs. North. Woohoo! Incredible. Yes, it is incredible. We had that in the news too. So let's have a look. Now comes the big moment. There we go. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you, Eagle Whisperer, for that beautiful contribution. And let's see. Yeah, let's go to this one here. Beak bite. Oh my goodness, look at this weather. That was on the 8th of April, so it's been some time. I think the weather is now better there. But it's an absolutely incredible video. I mean, the contributions here are out of this world. Thank you so much. And do please continue with your contributions, that you are doing such a good, really such a great gift to all of us. And I'm very pleased and humbled to share this with all of you. So thank you so much for your wonderful contributions here. Beautiful. Okay, and now we move on to Fort St Vrain, and we've had that nest before, head to tail to head to tail to head to tail. So this is a complete merry-go-round. You can see that marvelous picture of our triplet here. That is very recent, also growing up very nicely. And another picture by Shannon Raptor. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Nothing quite like having mum in the nest. Absolutely. That's mum in the nest. And here, this is another interesting story. A Rocky River Reservation bald eagle pair now has 3 eaglets. So obviously they have no webcam there. This is an observation. This is a new milestone for the Rocky River pair. We're monitoring the young bird's success. The lives of young eagles can be very challenging, as you all know. My goodness, this is what the whole channel is about, the challenges of growing up for these eaglets. And they are very excited, and they say, this exciting development continues to symbolize the successful recovery of this magnificent bird of prey in the Cleveland region. Look closely to see the small, round, grayish-white fuzzy heads of the young birds. That is by naturalist photo Lisa Romaniuk. Thank you very much. And we do know how difficult it is to raise triplets. And imagine raising triplets and a hawklet with that. We've seen crazy things in nature. And now again to the Institute of Wildlife Studies here from Santa Rosa. And what they're doing there is banding. You probably remember we had an interview with Peter some months ago, and they band the eagles regularly, and they track them that way. So they don't put trackers on them because they are too heavy for them, and they could land in the sea, as he told me. I remember the story very well. But they do band them, and I remember him telling me that, because I asked him, do the eaglets actually return to the area where they, where they were born? And he said in some occasions they do. So it is not what many believe, that they just come back to their area or region or even their nest. Some do and many don't, and they migrate elsewhere. Very complex, by the way, very complex. But beautiful contribution here. You can see all the banding that's going on, being very carefully. And you can see this is also quite a risk for the climbers. And now, oh, this is interesting. Shiloh Eagle Cam, never heard of it. So this is the Shiloh National Military Park. So what has happened there is the camera there broke down, and they don't quite know what the problem is, but at this point, unfortunately, they cannot troubleshoot it because they cannot interfere with the eagles. Therefore, there'll be no broadcast of Shiloh's Eagle Nest camera this year. Sorry, my eagle friends. That's the way it goes, but a very reasonable decision. And from the same nest, this was quite interesting, an 8.5-week-old chick fell out of the nest just after flapping its wings. It often happens. David Hancock has often said that there just has to be a small breeze or misfortune and whoops, the eaglet falls out. The chick has remained almost motionless until dark. There's a rescue mission going on. They say Julia flew down to the lowest limb to stare at the chick for a while before flying off, only to return after circling the nest tree, and Raptor rescue was called, but had not returned the call before I left. Chief Ranger Stacey Allen stated that if there was no contact with the rescue people after dark, an effort would be made to resume efforts in the morning. So very interesting story going on. Also not that uncommon, unfortunately, that eaglets fall out of the nest as long as there is no coyote or raccoon around. The eaglet should be doing fine, at least until it is rescued. Well, 8.5 weeks, of course, is still very young. Thank you for that contribution. And now we come on to Stanley Lake Eagles, April 22nd. Outside in the sunshine. And here comes our famous Desiree, whom I met also in the Southwest Florida Eagle Cam. Here, M wasn't too happy with the two coyotes passing through the pasture this morning. Oh my goodness. Taking straight off the back of her LCD camera, a fantastic picture of Marvis photographer Desiree Delis. And Jennifer has gone to the trio nest here and taken a very nice snapshot. Star grabbed it away, so there was a pellet that came from the eaglet, and the good Star, being with motherly instinct, takes the pellet away. And as if that wasn't good enough, this is another picture that is just tops it even more. A beautiful screen capture of a loving parent and its chick. Marvelous. Thank you so much for that beautiful submission from Catherine. And another one here from the trio again. I see a very determined trio contributing to what they see to their and take care of their tiny eaglet number 2. My prayers are with number 2. I hope yours are as well. Thank you for that, Bonnie. And now we jump to Maria, and from the Two Harbors bald eagle nest again to California. We are a lot going on here in California. So let's take a look at this footage. And there's a mighty wind blowing there. Rather funny. But that's where tail feathers can be a little bit annoying when the wind is very strong. Nearly being blown out of the nest here. Look at that, my goodness. That is incredible, absolutely incredible footage. You know, this is, oh my goodness. You know, this is what's so interesting. We see footage every time that we've never seen before. And do, by the way, if you've joined, be so kind to just give us a thumbs up. We put a lot of work into this news, especially my team. I'm very grateful for that. So do be so kind and just give us a thumbs up. It means a lot to us. Thank you, Maria, for this incredible contribution. And now to Paul White, Texas, and its yellow rose. And yellow rose has branched. That is really marvelous. Mama was settled in for the night on her favorite branch. And just about down another juvie joins. Oh, I think that was fledged already. So not branched, they have fledged already. I remember that, I beg your pardon. So that is a night shot of the the sighting where they have fledged well away altogether. Very beautiful, and that you can do with a night camera. And here's something new. Lesser spotted eagle. Thank you, Lollaboo, who's also with us today. Hi, Lollaboo. This is incredible. In German, its nickname is Schreiadler. I can pronounce it correctly. Schrei means scream, screaming eagle. And this is located in Latvia. Very interesting. Eggs are usually laid around the end of April. And canism, that is eating the siblings, is very common among these eaglets. So let's take a look at that and let's listen to some screaming. There's a frog gift coming in. Thank you, Lollaboo, for this beautiful contribution. Yeah, they're indeed quite noisy. So Lollaboo too, that is a great contribution. Thank you. Yes, canism does mean siblicide. That's right. I think that's the that's the word. That's correct. So it means eating the sibling. That's exactly right. And here's another contribution. This is a video slide of a short video at the end. Bald eagles, Columbus, Ohio. Let's just have a look at this one whilst I read this out. Oh yes, and this is just a report of, not just, I didn't mean it like that, but this is an interesting report of someone in Ohio, and absolutely delighted. It's Chickadee 64, and I think Chickadee 64 has been with us before too, and discovered this nest and taken some photographs of two eaglets that are in this up in the nest. And Chickadee discovered this. My sister lives near the nest and I visited her last March. This lone pine tree would have been cut down with all the other trees as this land was cleared, cut by loggers. One of them, thank God, realized that it was a bald eagle's nest, and it's for this, only for that reason it still remains today. Beautiful contribution. Thank you to Chickadee 64. Very nice. So just let you look at the pictures here. Yes, by the way, it was Mississippi. I beg your pardon. It's not Ohio, it's Mississippi. My correction here. It's Columbus, Mississippi. There's also Columbus, Ohio, but this is Columbus, Mississippi. Very nice contribution. Thank you so much, Chickadee. And that brings us to the end of a very long broadcast here. That is my Talented Talents team who has worked overtime to do this. Nicole, of course, Jenny, Susie and Belladonna, all of them are here today. Wonderful to see you all. Let me just quickly jump right back in. So I would like to thank you, and do come here on, very important, be with us here on Friday. We've got something about great horned owls. It's quite incredible. So we have an interview with, let me just see, it's Executive Director Carla Bloom, and she's from the International Owl Center. I will just put in the picture so you can see this. 1 second. Where are we? Oh, that's the wrong screen. 1 second. Let me just blend this in quickly. There you go. So this is upcoming on Friday, the 27th of April, same time as today. And don't miss that. We are getting better and better speakers every week. It's just incredible what high caliber people we're getting. So this is the Executive Director, Carla Bloom. Thanks for Nicole for organizing this. And do remember, if you have a photo or a video or Raptor story or observation you would like to share, do send it to, and there's the link to web.sassemedia.com video submit. You've done incredible contribution. I wanted to thank you all really from my heart for giving us so much interesting contributions that we can share with all of you. And do remember, if you would like some beautiful eagle images, take a look at my Patreon page. That helps a lot. I think people are already enjoying the quality that they're getting on Patreon. Also special broadcasts that are done only for them, especially when I travel. So thank you very much for being here and taking time. And I do hope to see you on Friday. Thank you and goodbye.